November 14, 2019. Westfield Walmart, Route 42, Cedar Falls, Iowa. 10:06 p.m. That's the exact time Casey Brennan's phone stopped working. Not died. Stopped. The screen froze on 10:06, the battery indicator locked at 43%, and every app became unresponsive. She didn't think much of it then. She was tired, irritated, just wanted to grab milk and leave. But when she looked up from her frozen phone and noticed the fluorescent lights humming at a frequency that made her teeth ache, she felt it. That wrongness. The kind that lives in your gut, ancient and animal. The kind that knows danger before your conscious mind catches up. 27 people entered that Walmart after 10 p.m. that night. Only 19 left before dawn. This is what happened to the others. Casey noticed the silence first. Walmart is never silent. Even at night, there's the beep of registers, the shuffle of stockers, the tinny overhead music playing the same 40 songs in endless rotation. But at 10:06, it all stopped. The music cut out mid-note. The registers went quiet. The humming of the lights became the only sound, and it was wrong, drilling into her skull like a dental instrument. She walked toward the dairy section at the back of the store, her sneakers squeaking on linoleum that felt somehow tackier than usual, almost adhesive. The milk refrigerators stretched before her, their glass doors reflecting her image back in triplicate, quadruple, infinite. She reached for a gallon of 2%. The handle was ice cold. Too cold. Cold enough that her palm stuck for a moment before she jerked it away. When she looked at her hand, there was no frostbite, no redness. Just a tingling sensation that wouldn't fade. She decided to leave. To hell with the milk. But when she turned around, the aisle had changed. The shelves were the same. The products were the same, cereals and crackers and canned vegetables in their assigned places. But the aisle itself had stretched. The front of the store, which should have been maybe 60 feet away, now looked like it was 100 yards distant, the registers tiny and far away, like looking through the wrong end of a telescope. Casey started walking. Fast. The distance didn't change. That's when she saw the old man. He was standing in the cereal aisle, perfectly still, facing the Cheerios. His cart was empty. His hands gripped the handle so tightly his knuckles had gone bone-white. Casey slowed as she approached. She could hear him breathing. Rapid, shallow breaths. Panicked breaths. She cleared her throat softly, not wanting to startle him. He didn't move. She said hello. Nothing. She stepped closer and saw his eyes. They were open, unblinking, staring at the yellow Cheerios box with an intensity that made her skin crawl. Tears streamed down his weathered cheeks, disappearing into the creases around his mouth. His lips moved soundlessly, forming the same words over and over. She leaned in, trying to read his lips. It looked like he was saying, "Can't find it, can't find it, can't find it." She touched his shoulder. His skin was ice cold through his flannel shirt. The moment she made contact, his head snapped toward her with mechanical precision, no gradual turn, just a sudden 90-degree rotation. His eyes were filmed over with white, like cataracts, but she knew he could see her. His mouth stretched into a smile that was too wide, showing too many teeth. He whispered, voice like dry leaves, "You're looking for the exit, aren't you?" Casey stumbled backward. When she looked again, he had returned to his original position, staring at the cereal, tears falling, lips moving. She ran. The speaker system crackled to life as Casey sprinted through the store. A woman's voice, cheerful and dead at the same time, the synthetic happiness of corporate training stretched over something hollow. Attention Walmart shoppers, the time is now 10:06 p.m. All exits are currently under maintenance. Please continue shopping. The time is now 10:06 p.m. All exits are currently under maintenance. Please continue shopping. The message repeated. Exactly the same. The same inflection. The same pause between sentences. Casey reached the front of the store. 8 checkout lanes stretched before her. The lights were on. The conveyor belts were still. And every single register displayed the same message on its screen, green letters on black, closed. But that wasn't what made her blood turn to slush. It was the doors. The automatic sliding doors that should have opened as she approached. They didn't budge. She could see outside. The parking lot. Her blue Honda Civic parked under a streetlight. The night beyond the glass. Freedom right there, separated from her by a quarter-inch of transparent barrier. She pushed against the glass. It didn't move. She pushed harder. Nothing. She slammed her shoulder into it, pain exploding through her joint. The glass didn't even vibrate. It felt solid, impossibly solid, like it was a foot thick instead of a fraction of an inch. She turned and saw them. Other shoppers. Scattered throughout the store. All standing perfectly still. All facing different directions. All crying silently. A young woman in yoga pants near the pharmacy. A teenage boy in a basketball jersey by the electronics. A middle-aged couple holding hands in the garden center. Statues. Weeping statues. And the clock above the register still read 10:06. Casey heard footsteps behind her. Real footsteps. Not the frozen shoppers, but actual movement. She whipped around and saw a Walmart employee emerging from between the aisles. A kid, maybe 19, his blue vest perfectly straight, his name tag reading Brandon in neat letters. But his eyes were wrong. Too bright. Too aware. He smiled at her, and unlike the old man's horrific grin, this one seemed almost kind. Almost human. He spoke in a whisper. You need to go to the stockroom. Now. It's the only place that's still real. Casey didn't move. Every instinct screamed trap. Brandon glanced over his shoulder, genuine fear crossing his face. They're going to start moving soon. When they do, you don't want to be out here. Trust me. I've seen it happen. He turned and walked toward a door marked employees only. After 3 steps, he looked back. Coming? Casey followed. What choice did she have? The stockroom was massive, metal shelves reaching toward a ceiling lost in shadow, boxes stacked in precarious towers, the smell of cardboard and dust and something else, something organic and wrong, like meat left too long in a warm car. Brandon led her deep into the maze of merchandise. He finally stopped near a loading bay door and turned to face her. His expression had changed. The fear was gone. Now there was only sadness. I'm sorry, he said. Casey's heart hammered. Sorry for what? Brandon gestured around the stockroom. For everyone who's still here. For everyone who came in after 10:06. The store doesn't let go. Not anymore. Not since they built it. Casey's voice shook. Built it on what? Brandon's eyes met hers. The old Cunningham property. Where the murders happened in 1952. 67 people. The family reunion that ended with everyone dead and no explanation. They bulldozed the house, paved over the land, pretended it never happened. But ground remembers. Ground holds onto things. A sound echoed from the store beyond the stockroom door. Footsteps. Hundreds of footsteps. All in perfect unison. Left, right, left, right. The frozen shoppers were moving. Brandon's face went pale. They're searching, he whispered. Looking for anyone still aware. Anyone still themselves. If they find you. He didn't finish. Casey grabbed his arm. There has to be a way out. You're here. You're still you. How do you survive? Brandon pulled away from her grip. When he stepped back, the fluorescent light hit his face at a different angle, and Casey saw it. The transparency. She could see the metal shelving through his cheek, faint but unmistakable, like he was a ghost caught between exposure times. I didn't survive, Brandon said softly. I'm from August. August 17th. I came in for a job. Interview at 9:58 p.m. I never left. The footsteps grew louder. Closer. The door to the stockroom began to shake in its frame. Casey looked frantically around for another exit, a window, a vent, anything. That's when she saw it. The loading bay door had a manual override. A big red handle. She ran for it. Behind her, Brandon called out, "Wait. You don't understand. Outside is worse. Out there, you're gone completely. In here, at least part of you remains. At least you still exist somewhere." Casey's hand closed around the cold metal handle. The stockroom door burst open. She turned and saw them flooding in. Dozens of shoppers, their movements synchronized, their white eyes gleaming, their mouths open in silent screams. She yanked the handle down. The loading bay door shuddered and began to rise with a mechanical groan. Cold night air rushed in. Casey ducked under the rising door and ran into the darkness of the loading area. Behind her, she heard Brandon's voice, sad and fading, "You'll be back. They always come back." Casey Brennan's blue Honda Civic was found in the Westfield Walmart parking lot 3 days later. The keys were in the ignition. Her purse was on the passenger seat. Security footage from that night? It cuts out at exactly 10:06 p.m. and doesn't resume until 6:47 a.m. The store manager claims nothing unusual happened. The employees on shift that night all quit within a week, and none of them will talk about it. But here's what keeps me up at night. The Westfield Walmart, Route 42, Cedar Falls? It's still open. Still operating. And every few months, someone reports their phone freezing at 10:06 p.m. while they're shopping there. What happens to those people? Are they still there, frozen among the aisles, weeping silently while the rest of us walk past, unseeing? Or did they make the choice Casey made? Did they run into the darkness beyond the loading bay? And if they did, where are they now?